All right, let's talk about the much superior Psycho Cop 2. I actually think I'm going to talk about this one a lot less than I did the other one. I didn't expect to talk about that one for like 15 straight minutes, but I had a lot of bitching to do on that one. This one, honestly, it's just going to be kind of general stuff. Like, I just laughed a fuckload. Like, I had a lot of fun. A lot of the dialogue from the Psycho Cop is very funny. A lot of his puns, a lot of his humor. His acting in this, while horrible as it was in the last one, actually worked. I don't know, the way that the director and the writers were able to spin it, it actually fit the film, and I actually was having a lot of fun watching him, as opposed to the last movie where I just wanted to fucking scream the entire movie at how bored and stupid the film was. How bored I was and how stupid the film was. But I do love this opening shot when he comes up to the guys and he's like, "You wouldn't be discussing anything illegal or planning anything illegal, would you?" And they're like, "No way, officer." And he's like, "All right." And he leaves. And I guess he like marks them. Like, there's my targets for this movie. I'm going after them. And he goes and he gets in his car, and we get this like montage scene of the credits and him just in his car. And there are body parts strewn everywhere. There's like fingers, in that little grate that they have in between, the little gate that they have in between the front seat and the back seat of the squad cars. There's like fingers stuck through the little holes in there, and there's just like heads and arms and torsos and just everywhere. And this is parked out on a city street right there for everyone to see. And he went in and had like lunch at a cafe, and no one saw, like, as they walked by, the mass amounts of body parts, like in the front seat, in the back seat, up on the dash, up in the fucking grate, as I said. It's everywhere in the car. Nobody saw that. It doesn't matter. It's a fucking joke film, so I'm not like being like, "Oh my god, that's such a plot hole." It just adds to the ridiculousness of it, but I had to laugh thinking about that. Like, really? No one called this in? No one was like, "Wait a minute." But it did make me laugh a lot. I like when the guys come in and they're like planning the party, and they go up to the guy and they're like, "Did you get the booze?" And he like just has these cabinets full of booze, and then he pulls like another one. He has so much booze. There's only like 10 people come to this party at best. I think there's only like 7 or 8 people in this entire fucking movie. And that's what they knew was coming to this bachelor party. Not a very big bachelor party. Like 3 dudes and a couple strippers. Like 3 strippers or something. And they brought like 20 bottles of hard liquor. These guys are party. I'd like to party hardy, Marty. Yeah. And I love how the guy walks in on the couple that are having an office fling. I'm guessing they're having an affair, and they're like totally like screwing up on the photocopier, and the guy's just like, "Oh, excuse me," and he comes in and he goes and he scans his fucking face, takes the picture, and he's like, "All right, get back to it," and like goes and closes the door. And instead of them being like, "Oh my god, like holy shit, like we just got caught," they just are like, "Okay, whatever," and like just go back to fucking. And he doesn't care, and they don't care, and they're caught like multiple times in this movie. And then as soon as anyone walks out of the room, they're just like, "Whatever, let's continue to fuck." Like, they feel like they're doing it on the down low, but then their actions suggest that they don't really actually give a shit, and they are totally fine fucking. But when they're caught in these like making up excuses, like, "Oh, it's not what it looks like. She tripped and I fell," and like the whole like joke, like, "What happened? You trip and fucking fall and your dick stuck in her," or whatever. Like, that's kind of what he was trying to insinuate was happening. But then, like, as soon as someone leaves, they don't have that moment, like, "Oh my god, we got caught. Like, what are we gonna do?" Or like, "We gotta stop this." It's just like, "Oh, well, they left anyway. Let's fuck again." It was so funny and ridiculous, and didn't fit the way that they were playing that scene at all. A lot of boobage in this movie. There wasn't like none in the last one. And a movie like this, when they're bringing strippers and it's a bachelor party and you want gore and you want tits, and you got plenty of that going on here. So strippers and boobies. So for you fans of that like myself, you got that going on here. And the scene where he goes up and he shoots the guy on the roof with the stripper was hilarious. Like he just pulls his gun out and shoots the guy. And then he goes up and he handcuffs his dead body and reads this guy his Miranda rights, but changes all of the words to be like, you know, you have the right to remain dead. And, you know, you have the right to an attorney, but all good it will do you since you're dead. And all this hilarious dialogue of just constantly just keeping pushing the fact that he's dead. Like he shoots him through the head. He's clearly just done. And he goes over and he starts like aggressively arresting the guy and putting the handcuffs on him and talking all this shit to him. I found that scene to be hilarious. And doing it in front of this girl who's sitting there screaming and crying. Why she didn't run away? I mean, she was terrified, whatever, I get that. But it was just like, really? You didn't run? Like, you should probably go. This guy's clearly not right in the head. That is not what cops are doing, should be doing, and would be doing. And then he throws her off the roof. And man, this guy needs to go to the Olympics because he has incredible aim. He throws her all the way down, and she fucking, and we actually see it from the top view. So I don't know how many times this took, like how many takes this took, but the body that they threw off, whatever, the dummy, the mannequin, whatever the hell that thing was, it felt like a long way before it fell in the trash can in the shot. And then we get like a street view of it falling in the trash can again, and then the lid closing. But you see a long shot of it falling and hitting that trash can. I am super curious on how many takes that took for them to actually hit the trash can. And it ended up playing into the movie because the guy thinks he sees the body falling, and then he goes and he looks down and there's no body to be seen. There's just a closed trash can at the bottom, which is actually a really clever little, you know, moment there. I thought that was freaking great. I was like, he's like, I swear I saw a body fall, and he looks and it isn't there, but it is there, because a lot of times in these movies, a person will see something and then they'll go grab their friends and then they'll come back and the body's just missing. And it's like, and the guy has to question, like, did I see what I saw? And like the body's been moved, or it was a ghost, so that like when the friends go and look, that isn't actually there. Like when he sees like the room covered in blood or whatever, and then they come back and there's no blood in the room. The body actually was there. They just couldn't see it because of a cleverly placed trash can and funny written scene. So I just thought it was kind of a different little take on that scenario when the friend comes back and like, oh my God, like, you're crazy, man. See, I told you there wasn't anything here. And he's like, wait, is there? Like, the body actually was there. So that was cool. And when they find out, when the dude finds out that he was right, like he keeps telling his friend, like, that guy's been following us, and he keeps looking down. He's like, look, it's his car, and I know he's coming after, and this is his badge he sent us in the photocopy, and all these things. And when they finally see that the cop is actually coming, he walks in, and like the guy is, you know, he's hung up on the pentagram looking thing, and he turns around, he's like gonna kill them. He's like, I was right, and I'm never right. I thought that was hilarious. The fact that he's so excited that he was right about something for the first time, and this is the one thing you want to be wrong about, and he's right about it, and he's like, not celebrating like he's happy, but it is this moment of victory for him. Like, I'm never right. You didn't listen to me. But he actually has to take that time. And as I said, this movie is very silly. It's not trying to play like it's in reality at all. It is kind of slapsticky, especially that character, because like when he runs away later, he's like running. The way he's running, it's clearly not a man who would be running from fear. It's like an exaggerated scene for comedic purposes. But to see him like doing the whole I was right scene, I loved that so much. This movie also addresses the last movie, which I thought was cool, and I didn't think we were going to get here. Right? We got a scene where the guy was like, you know, the guy, the last psycho cop, who was him obviously, was stabbed through the chest, like impaled, it went all the way through him, and then he just walked off like it was nothing. Like, I was like, oh wow, they actually addressed the last movie. How cool. I didn't think they would do that at all. And then he gets his ass kicked. Like, these bar patrons see him beating up on a chick, so they all go out there. Their reaction is insanely over the top. Like, they could have stopped him. You know, maybe like pushed him to the ground and held him down until the cops got there or whatever, but they like did a reverse Rodney King on him and beat the fuck out of him. And when the guy went and grabbed his video camera, I thought for sure that they were going to spin it like hero cop is beaten by, these local, drunks and whatever, and he was going to get away with the murders because he looks like the victim in this scenario, when this guy only films what, in out of context, it looks like he's getting his ass kicked by all these people, and that they were going to go down for this, and that he was going to be released because of the injustice on him. But they didn't go that way at all. So I don't really know why we had to have that camera shot. I feel like that was the way they were going to do it. Maybe they shot two different endings and then they decided to go with the other one. But it just seemed like the camera thing was meant to be there to make him look like the victim. And I feel like they could have played off of that and they could have let him go. But of course he lives and he pulls the thing off. Even though his face was completely burnt, he pulls it off and his face is completely clean. So he has like regenerative powers like Wolverine or something. I don't know. This dude is fucking indestructible. But his humor in this was great. There's so many great lines. I'm not really big on, if I had the ability to insert clips in this, I would put a bunch of my favorite lines. But just saying a bunch of my favorite lines is kind of lame. So, but there's tons of them. Pretty much everything the guy says in this movie made me laugh. So what a vast improvement over the horrible first one, in my opinion. Now, if you found enjoyment in the first one, of course, that's awesome. Great for you. But my God, I thought it was dreadful. And I thought this one was a blast. So anyway, all right, Psycho Cop 2. That was easy. Jesus, 2 film series are nothing at all. All right, guys.